Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft. They really screwed up the pooch. And honestly, I've always scrutinized Microsoft for quite a long time now. I mean, if you were a long-time viewer of my channel, you may remember on, if I was to get specifically June 13, 2013, I made a video, probably one of the very few times I was super fucking pissed off at something that happened. And it's ridiculous that things have only continued to get worse when there was a between time. Well, they were actually trying to get better from that day. Now, for those who are familiar, that was the time frame the Xbox One reveal happened. And yeah, anyone who lived through that era would probably know or remember that a lot of people were not happy with the announcements they made in their statement to many of the things that they announced that day, let alone how they presented, and then Sony literally just fucking bitch slapped them with their presentation at E3. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But yes, for those who aren't in the know, Microsoft has announced the Game Pass going up in price again, which I'm actually happy and proud of so many people that they rightfully called it out and canceled their Game Passes. This shit is getting ridiculous. Things, I get, prices go up and stuff and that, but the game industry is getting ridiculous. I remember there was a point in time, during COVID, where people were saying, the game industry is for rich people. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? Games, we've been living through one of the most affordable eras of, buying video games. Consoles have been a little bit of a subjective thing here and there, depending on certain generations and systems we're talking about. But overall, games have become so affordable versus the era of needing so many chips and motherboardy things and 3D thingamabobs in the cartridges era of the game industry, where things were all wibbly wobbly. And now we're just going back to a weird era like that always. Companies are wanting to try and push $80 fucking on shit that does not feel like it's even worth that. We're still getting past the $70 price tag as far as I'm care, and I still say Elden Ring is the only fucking game that ever felt like it even could have gone away with that, honestly. Everything else doesn't feel worth that to me. It's just so weird to me. But yeah, and this is starting a whole new trend with Microsoft, though, with the whole cancellation of the Game Pass. Costco has announced that they're removing all Xbox shit from the stores. And then now Sam's Club, for, those who don't live in America, Sam's Club is an offshoot of Walmart. It's basically buy in bulk kind of store. But Sam's Club started putting shitloads of the Xbox stuff on clearance. There were people finding Xbox Series for $170 to $250. And if you look at GameStop's trade-in, that's some of those prices are a little good trade-in value, a little quick flip for a little bit more than I usually get. So, too bad Sam's Club ain't in my area. But yeah, if you're interested in a Series X, you might want to take a look at your Sam's Club if you got one in your area, maybe, if they still actually have any in stock. But yeah, that was a weird thing to see, the console just massively discounted after they announced raising the console prices. Again! They only did that this year! And now they're getting rid of them. And now, rumor of Target and Walmart. This is a rumor of them also removing Xbox shit. And Xbox quickly announced saying, oh no, that's not true. I don't know. I can tell you my local Walmarts have been very bare and small on the Xbox thing. Like, they are just this little cubby hole now. Because, I mean, like, they've barely been making physical copies of any of their games at this point. And, like, it's considered the failure of the generation. The PS4 and 5 will consider the winner. Like, okay, so, like, for the one PS4 and Switch era, well, actually, I mean, it kind of depends on whether you count the Wii U. But the point is, out of the three, Xbox was the bottom of the barrel for the Xbox One and Series eras. They fucked up really hard. And this is just really a big blow. You know, as much as I bitch about Microsoft and Xbox shit, like, you know, the Red Wing of Death made the 360 like the most fucking horrible console. I mean, console. We're not talking about the games and stuff that were on it. We're just talking about the functional survivability of the console. The 360 might be one of the worst fucking consoles because of how it was originally built. But the fact that Microsoft actually, you know, fixed them and refurbished and sent people new consoles and shit, like, that was the stuff that gives you, like, consumer confidence in the product. All this shit they've been doing since the Xbox One is just gut punching and shit. And as much as they tried to recover from that, like bringing backwards compatibility and stuff, oh, excuse me, as they will try to bring backwards compatibility and shit to try and bring consumer faith again. Because, you know, I don't know what it was about that dude who's in charge of the Xbox One and the previous Sony guy. They both fucking shat on, like, fucking backwards compatibility shit. I can't remember the exact quote the Xbox One guy said. He said something about fucking backwards compatibility, too. That kind of got drowned out from all the other stupid shit, like, oh, don't you have the 360? Oh, we got something like that. It's 360. Oh, you vacuum cleaner. It's like, oh my goodness. Ugh. The fact that that guy didn't end up in the streets is a sad, like, that goes to show you how corrupt, like, CEO, like, positions are. Like, the fact that that guy fucking sunk Microsoft for a whole generation to potentially its entire existence at this point, and still fucking makes a fortune going to other companies. It like speaks volumes of how corrupt like CEO positions fucking are. Because that kind of thing to me speaks like, yeah, I don't want you associated with my business. Fuck off. Like, so out of touch of reality. It's just, I don't really, like, you know, back then with the Xbox One, I thought Microsoft's days were going to go down the gutter. And, I mean, to be fair, looking at you could make that argument, but they still exist. They're still around, and they definitely built up an audience. Like, one of the things the companies want to do is get you to be brand loyal. And, like, we're going through an era where all the companies basically feel like they've built up brand loyalty, and they want to challenge how loyal you are and how much you're willing to part with shit for that loyalty. Now, you know, one thing a lot of people miss in all these, like, free games and subscription services and shit with, like, all the companies. Like, so, you know, like, with Xbox and PlayStation, you know, you pay for your online subscription shit, and you get like monthly free games and shit, like, you know, that right? You know, you build up this library, and like this library is attached to this console, and that to some people and to the corporates, you know, it's like, oh well, now you're your game libraries associated with us. You're just gonna go and we buy them all in the competition. And this is why, like, digital to me is just, it's just another reason digital is bad to me. Like, sure, you buy a physical disc for one console, it's obviously not gonna work for the other console, but you can sell it. And if you want, maybe even swap it for, like, depending on your situation, you might even be able to just straight out swap it. But, like, I mean, you can at least sell it and, like, get money to buy the other version if you wanted in that situation. But, like, there's just stronger commitment to brand loyalty when you build up all these digital libraries and shit. And, like, in that scenario, I kind of understand being, like, held with a gun, be like, well, I hate Microsoft, but, like, all my games are on their digital library and shit and stuff. And it's like, you kind of put yourself there, sadly. But, I get the logistics, the idea, and but that's why I say, like, I'm really happy a lot of people are actually pushing back against Microsoft on this shit with the Game Pass. People who have done all the numbers and stuff, I don't have any of that data, but there's been lots of people who've done all that data, and people have pointed time again, the numbers don't really make sense in profitability. Microsoft keeps saying it is profitable, but people a lot of times keep saying, like, this doesn't really feel like it adds up to me to being profitable. So either, like, Microsoft is lying to us, as a lot of people personally believe, and they've just been raising the price slowly, which they have. They have been raising the price slowly, which, important to note, they said they weren't going to do after they bought Activision. It's like, oh, we're not going to raise the price. And then they raised the price. Like, honestly, like, the fact, like, the whole Activision and Blizzard shit, like, honestly, like, the monopolization of all the businesses in gaming, TV, movies, like, the fact that it's happening is ridiculous, because we literally have laws about being anti-monopoly shit, and yet, like, it keeps being let go. It's like, now, to be fair, there was I can't remember what particular what's the word I'm thinking of, the like district, the branch that was actually trying to block the merger with Microsoft shit. And they were trying to do the job, but for some reason, I don't know if it was money, corruption, back deal doors, but they got around and bought it all. And the sad fact is, it wasn't even any good that came from Microsoft buying any of these companies. They've laid off, shut down, closed, became too bloated, destroyed or buried several franchises. Like, what good has came from anything Microsoft's been doing lately? Honestly, like I said, back when the Xbox One reveal happened, I honestly really thought Microsoft was going to take a really, really big fucking hit. Like super, like, possibility they could get fucked completely. And that feels like that's what's happening again right now. Like, there's such an outcry and stuff. And I feel like the only real chance of staying in the game is normies. I mean, let's face it, gamers, like hobbyists, gamers, collectors, like, the majority of us are throwing Microsoft under the bus to, like, for me, like, they've just been dead. Like, the only reason I have an Xbox One is because Dan sold it to me for, like, super cheap. He got, like, for $5 at some fucking yard sale, and I gave him $100 for it. And the only fucking thing I've played on it is Dead Rising 3. That's the only fucking thing I've played on it. I do have some other ones. Like, I have the game the Alan Wake people did on it. What was it, like, called Quantum Break or whatever. I mean, I have some games for it. It's just, I just haven't really gave a shit to really play it, really. So it's just been a brick. So, obviously, when the series went to live on as what the Xbox One was originally supposed to be, like, I had even less reason to even give a shit, let alone the fact that, like, I can't think of anything that's exclusive on the Xbox Series that I even care about. And that's something, because I can't name two things on the Xbox One, Devising 3 and Quantum Break. Though I do have some other titles too, but it's like, I... To me, the brand's been dead for ages. Like, after the 360, it's just been dead. It's been dead to me for a long time. And for some of you, it's dying now. Some of you younger people are going through what I experienced when the Xbox One shit was announced. And, this is another wake-up call also to physical stuff, ownership and stuff. We went through the whole thing with the EU. Getting all the signatures and shit to try and defend our right to actually play fucking games that a lot of these companies keep fucking taking away from us and shit. And this is waking up more people to your ownership rights and shit, People are really looking and thinking and understanding more of that shit now. And that's good. I feel like the last 2 years have been a very big improvement on people understanding their ownership rights and stuff more, which is good. Because, like, there's a reason stuff like records and music CDs and things have came back to a certain extent, because people want to have the reliability of owning that shit. Because, like, things like Apple and Amazon books and stuff have taken stuff away. Like, I mean, Amazon has done that multiple times to books, movies, and shit. Just like, oh, we don't have the license anymore, so we moved out of your library. But I paid for it. Yeah. Buy it again. Like, I don't get why people are so willing to go in there. It's one thing if it's super cheap and convenient. Like, I get convenience. But, like, for the convenience to be worth it to me, it has to be, like, there has to be that price for it. Like, if all video games were $1 and I could sit on my ass and download them instantly off the internet versus all the hassle to go get a physical copy, install and all that, I could understand that. You're choosing You're choosing to forgo your ownership rights for a lot of convenience for a really cheap price. Ooh, dang on, tonal hiccups. Like, I can get that. I don't get that when it's like the exact same price. $59.99 for a physical copy you can own and resell, or $59.99 for a digital copy you have absolutely no rights or anything to. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. I'll never get that. I'll never understand that. Even if it's a fucking physical disc for an online-only game, I still won't get that, because you can resell that. You can resell that, especially, obviously, if it's still functioning. Now, if it's a shut-down server, then, it depends on the collector's markets for that particular thing, but I don't know. It's just... I just don't know what is going on anymore in this shit. To me, it just feels like every day the game industry is just slowly dying to me. The rumors of the PS6 going to have a removable drive like the new version of the PS5, which, if that's the case and it needs the internet, just will... I don't know. I just feel like it's my care for the game industry right now is just like, feels like Zippo. Switch 2 is one of the most disappointing, like, it's like on the level of, like, it's like, I can't tell you how flabbergasted the whole situation with keycards with the Switch 2 is to me. Like, everyone was so flabbergasted. I remember people in the Desert Play Discord when we were talking about next generation like a year ago or something. People were like, well, at least we can always rely on Nintendo to care about physical stuff going forward still, even if the other companies don't. And it's like, they just like, fuck it, pure evil corporation, go! And really, like, when you think about it, that's one of Microsoft's big problems they had. They got a bunch of the stupid fucking corporate CEOs, and that's the same problem I feel like is happening with Nintendo. big businesses coming in, taking over what the reliable people. This is why, like I say, like when Gabe Newell's dead, this is what's gonna happen to Steam probably. Big business people are gonna come in and fuck it all up. People don't understand shit. The only problem with Nintendo is it has a loyal fan base that for some reason feels like, oh, you know, they want $200 for the next Mario game? I'm not going to question it. Like, well, I would at least hope at that point, like, that was obviously sarcasm, but, like, honestly, if that really happened, I really hope people would know to boycott it, because, oh, wow. And you know the sad thing is, if Microsoft, because the rumors, and this is like the really concerning thing. Look, as much as I hate Microsoft's products now, their corporatization, what they've done with their last two consoles and shit, like, you know, I want them to exist. Now you might be like, oh, well, you're a big Sony fanboy, or you're a weeb. Of course you don't give a shit. Why would you care? Competition. You want to know what the PS4 was a really good system overall? Because they saw it up to it, a fucking dunk, do consumer rights and shit, and look at what, like, sure, the PS4 isn't the most memorable fucking thing. I mean, it's way better than the PS5, in my opinion, when it comes to its game library. But, yeah. And they didn't, like, Sony didn't have that card to play with the series generation. They didn't really have any game titles or anything they really did to really whip people into that hoo-yah. But how to say, without the competition, companies are more blind to, you know, just be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Who's going to dictate me? Who's going to tell me I can't? Who are you going to go to instead of me if I'm the only one in town? And that's what's bad about it. Competition drives them to want to do things for us instead of abuse us. If the rumors of Microsoft not going to do another console, which Microsoft denies, there's two rumors claiming that Microsoft is basically axing all the console projects and they're going to focus on the Game Pass. If true, that basically means Microsoft is leaving the console war and ending up similarly to Sega. They're just going to publish games on shit. Which, to be honest, you know, I've theorized them doing that for years. Like, they keep saying they want to put the Game Pass on everything, including the Switch and the PlayStation and that. They want it to be an app thing, like Steam, but work on everything. And that's been my opinion for several years, that they're just going to eventually drop the console. And the fact that the Xbox One, which is definitely the worst Xbox console to date, I'm pretty sure the series did way better than the Xbox One, which actually really doesn't make sense considering it, like, the series is literally incarnation of what the Xbox One was supposed to be, like, you know, with the DRM and check-ins and shit. Like, so, but, point is, I wouldn't be surprised if they really do just give up on doing console shit. And that takes out competition. That leaves only Sony and Nintendo, who haven't really directly competed with each other very much, because Nintendo has been this hybrid handheld home console thing that people just, you know, get for Nintendo and portability. So, like, it's more like, it's going to be kind of a tricky thing if it's just the two of them. It does leave room for somebody to try and enter the market. But to be fair, like, entering the console market has always been a nightmare. I mean, Sony was really lucky with the PS1 was magic for them. They got lucky because a lot of companies don't get the fucking one in the water like that. Like the Master System, Sega's console before the Sega Genesis, like only did well in like Europe. It didn't do very well at all over here. Though to be fair, some of that was Nintendo's fault with their anti-consumer friendly practices. And really looking at Nintendo, really has always been fucking doing shit like that. Like Nintendo, like for those who don't know, Nintendo back then had a thing where it's like, oh, you can't put a game on competition or port the game or blah 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 until somebody took him to court and said this was bullshit. This is bullshit, and the court's like, yep, it's bullshit. But yeah, like Nintendo had all kinds of fucking shit like that. They've done things like that, but like this is where they've gone so egregious to shit. It's just wacky bonkers to me. The fact that this shit's going on. Like Nintendo's dead to me. Microsoft's been dead to me. Sony's just been disappointing since the midpoint of the PS4, where they just moved to California and just like, you know what? We hate anime now. Burn it all. Burn. Now, to be fair, they've kind of went a little back on some of that, to be fair, because, I mean, let's face it, like, I don't know about you, but what would you call can you name me 5, like, exclusive PS5 things off the top of your head that's just, like, defines the PS5? Yeah, I can't. I don't like the PS5 to me. It's just been another gaming system with games that are available on 2 or 3 consoles and shit. Like there hasn't been any exclusives at all. Like, uh, like noteworthy. Ooh, another remake of The Last of Us and a Western take on visualization of Demon Souls. Ooh. Oh my goodness! Wow, that makes it so like worth it all. I mean, hell, I've been having more fun playing other shit like the last Hero of Nostalgia Gaia. That was a really fun Super Whale game that I had the PS5 version. It's on the Switch too, though. But again, like exclusives. What is demanding you to get a PS5 right now? You want to know what made me get a PS5? The new PS5 with the detachable disc drive. I was like, oh, well, that doesn't sound good, so I guess I better get the old model, because that sounds like it'll be more problematic in the future. So that's why I got a PS5. Funny, ain't it? Ha. But yeah, I don't know. Just feels like the whole industry's collapsing. But hey, it might be for the bill, as sad as it is. I have said several times before in the past, sometimes I kind of want that point where I can just be like, I'm going to stop. I could save up my money. I could even get a few of those affordable, really expensive games I still want, because, I'm not buying all this crap anymore, and I can just enjoy what I have. I don't really want that to happen, to be honest. Logically and logistically, that would be better for me, because it would mean more money getting saved as I get old and stuff. I can just focus on the shit I already have. But, I don't want that really for the industry. The gaming medium is awesome. Things like Neo Automata, Danganronpa, Neo. Amazing experiences. There are many games that are mind-blowing and awesome. And that experience is very unique to gaming. And right now I'm playing the 100th line, The Last Defense Academy, which is by the creator of Danganronpa. And boy, I'm just mind-fucked by what everything's going on in it. And I'm not even done with it yet. Those kind of experiences are amazing. And they don't come every year, every month, every day. Sometimes it takes a few years for those amazing games to get cooked up. And I don't want those experiences to just stop and go away. They feel rarer and rarer as we go on because people are less wanting to take risks and shit. Like, we already talked about Sony multiple times how they just basically fucking drained all their fucking IPs and shut down the Japanese side of shit and stuff. And now they're just like, nothing really represents them. Like, it's all dead. The only thing they've carried on is what was it, Astrobot or whatever from the VR thing from PS4. Not the bad mouthing Astro bot fans, because I did hear that new game was really good. To be fair, I heard it also has a lot of good references in it to other titles and that, which is nice. But, it's not really exactly my personal cup of tea. I miss a lot of the cool games. Like, stuff like Tokyo Jungle was fucking awesome. Tokyo Jungle was fucking awesome. The fact that I didn't get, like, greenlit for a sequel or something is like a crime. That was such a really neat idea, little game. And then stuff like, what was that dude from what is it? I can't remember. It was like Badman. I think that was the name. Like the name, like the different entries have had different names because of localization and stuff of that. Like, I just like they just dumped all the little wacky ideas, Patapon and stuff. They just dumped them all. No, to be fair, Patapon just got like a Switch version, so I mean there's that at least. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like anything defines the PS5. But yeah, Microsoft, you continue to burn yourself down in the woods as far as I'm concerned. Some people will given faith during the series for you, but you've never given me faith since that faithful day you burned yourself in the woods during the Xbox One reveal. You've done nothing to honestly give me any faith in you ever again, and you only continued to burn it personally. And while I don't welcome you burning down, because like I said, ultimately I don't want competition to go away. Competition is good. Less competition means worse shit for us, because companies have less reason to be like, oh well, they did this, and like if anything, like they just been more willing to work together. Like like fucking Nintendo's like, oh, $80 game. You saw how fast Microsoft was like, $80 game, $80 game. And of course, it was hilarious to see them like backpedal back to $70. And while they never said why they did that, I think the Outer Worlds Twitter account was like, after assessing some things, we kind of had a word with, some of the greedy business people and fought back to get you your cheap price or some shit like that. But honestly, the reality, in my opinion, is I don't think they had the pre-orders. They're looking at the pre-orders and they're like, this ain't looking good. This ain't looking good. Not looking good at all. Which goes to show you, nobody really wants to pay, $80 for most shit. Whether it's old or new, if it's not a really fucking good game, people ain't paying $80. And the only reason people paid $80 for fucking Mario Kart is because Mario Kart's really popular. As much as I'm like, it's Mario Kart. I mean, there's been lots of Mario Kart. In the open world aspect, kind of just goes with my usual opinion on open world. It's just I've heard the same thing. Like, a lot of people say it's pretty bare and open. It's and yeah, that's kind of my problem with most open world games. I mean, hell, back when Elden Ring was announced as a big open world thing, I literally watched nothing about it. Because you want to know why? Because I honestly thought I wasn't going to like it at all, just because they were turning it into an open world game. Because I haven't liked open world games really since fucking PS2 era. I got so blown on that shit because this, usually full of so much mundane garbage, meaningless content. And we've talked about that kind of subject matter, meaningless content and meaningful content. And they both have a place. If you don't have a lot of money and you want something that'll give you like 500 hours of things to do, meaningless content stuff like that has a place. You could buy Grand Theft Auto for $40, $60, depending, if it's old, new, and shit, and have hundreds of hours looking, unlocking, and doing everything. Oh, excuse me. Like, it has a place. It's not to say it doesn't. But I'm sick of that shit. There's tons of it. Tons of it. So much of it. But that's why I was glad I was kind of proven wrong with Elden Ring, because it did a lot of what I liked it. I liked the world building, thinking about the story, finding the story shit and stuff. So ultimately, I got proven wrong on disliking Elden Ring. But yeah, it didn't necessarily magically make me like, ooh, I love all open world stuff. It just did content that I found meaningful. Now, some people don't care about the story of Souls games, and that's fine. To them, it's meaningless content. They just want to fight the bosses and shit. Like, what you consider meaningful and meaningless content is going to be different on an individual basis, obviously. But that's what I'm saying, like, you gotta see what you want and stuff. But anyway, I know, I'm just rambling at this point, right? Point is, Microsoft's fucking up, and the future is looking very grim as a console company. Will they have a future as being a platform like Steam and just providing games like Game Pass and purchasing through? I don't know. I mean, Steam has, Ubisoft, let's see, we got Ubisoft, EA, multiple companies have tried to do their own little platform. Most of them still have those platforms, but generally, over time, they're just like, yeah, this ain't working, release the shit on Steam too, and just keep our platform. So, and as far as I know, Microsoft does that for a number of things too. They still release some stuff on Steam as well, so, as far as I'm aware of, I might be maybe I'm not I'm not necessarily the expert on Xbox these days. I believe they still make, but point is though, I don't know if they can really make it as a platform. The Game Pass, obviously, the Game Pass was appealing to people because it was cheap and gave you access to a bunch of games. Ultimately, the big problem people have with the Game Pass is the fact raising the price makes it, not cheap. And to the point where, should I just buy the game physically or something? And have better ownership rights? Or even just digitally? And have more ownership over the whatever winter time period until they move it from the Game Pass? Because, I mean, at the price it is, you could get, 5 to 6 titles, depending on, if they're 49, 59, 69, 70, price games. And let's be fair, unless you are either a super devoted, look, I am very devoted to games. I have way too many games. I work a full-time job. I don't get to fucking play hundreds of games every year. Unless you are in school, you're unemployed, or somehow you're in a position that you don't have to work a full-time job like I do, you probably also don't get through hundreds of games every year. And some people are like, I only get to really play 5-ish titles a year or something, unless, super short little titles, not talking about short little indie, talking about things that are going to generally be 40 to 60 to 100 hours length type stuff. Some people are only going to get a few games in a year. And when you look, the Game Pass might be oh, look, we have 50, 100 games you can access and stuff. But how many of those are you going to beat? How many of those are you going to have all the time to play? And that's kind of the thing is, it's all cool getting all that many games for $10. But the price keeps going up and up and up, and then it's getting to the point it's like I could just be buying actual games now, because the point, like, unless you literally have the time to play through all those games every fucking year, the price isn't really worth it. Like, if you have a job, responsibilities, a family, it's not really worth it anymore. Unless you're unemployed, have free electricity, and that you, or you're young and your parents let you play games constantly, it's not worth it anymore. Most people aren't going to be able to play. Like, you probably would be lucky to get close to 20 games a year done. Probably. Like, like full-fledged games. Not like, oh, this is a 1 to 5 hour length game kind of thing. Like, but, yeah. Anyway, I know. I'm rambling. Weemba wamba weeba wamba 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 wamba. But yeah, I just wanted to touch up on the Xbox situation. It's just, like I said, it's been dead to me. The whole brand of it has just been dead to me. It has not been a thing for me at all for ages now. But, maybe for you it is. Anyway, take it easy. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you all next time on the Proving Grounds.